The Lifestyle Show, presented by Selina MacKenzie.
When she was only 10 years old, ISIS descended upon her community with deadly genocidal intent. Well, she's put her story in a book called I Survived ISIS, and she bravely is here to tell us about it. Welcome to the show, Roza.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very, very welcome. Where to start? First of all, tell us about Shingal. I believe it's near the mountains.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful small city in northern Iraq. The population is mainly Yazidis, and there's some other different religions too. It's a very beautiful city, and beside the Shingal mountain, and it's surrounded by it's all surrounded by beautiful mountains, and Yazidi temples are across the mountains, and it's very, very beautiful.
I was reading that the Yazidi people scooped up the sacred soil and then mixed it with the holy spring and formed a tiny ball. I think that's really interesting.
Yep.
So what do you remember from back then? You were only 10 years old.
Well, before the genocide, our life was pretty simple and very beautiful. My mom was a housewife. My dad worked at his dad's farm, and we stayed in the city. And I went to school, had friends, go out, have fun, like do simple things, and then go to school, enjoy school, learn, and it was pretty simple and beautiful. And then just suddenly all changed in August of 2014.
It must have been really frightening. Just to clear something up, Daesh and ISIS, they're both the same, aren't they? Just different names.
Yeah, Daesh and ISIS are the same terrible group.
Okay, and do you remember that day clearly? I mean, it must have been awful for everybody involved.
Yeah, it was a pretty awful day. It started very early in the morning with hearing gunshots all around everywhere. Like we could hear the gunshots, although they were a little bit far from us. But my dad went on top of the house because like back home in the summer, you sleep on the rooftop. So my dad and my uncles woke up very early, and then they're trying to watch and like look through like the microscopes and stuff. And they saw the situation is just getting worse and worse, and like ISIS is coming closer. So we decided we're going to go to our farm, always beside the mountains, and stay there until the whole family gathers, and we could drove from there to the mountain to escape ISIS. So when we got to the farm and everybody gathered, I remember my cousin called and said that we have to flee. And like he lives on the States, so he knew what was going on. And he said, there's no chance to wait, just go to the mountain for safety. I remember the whole family left in a rush, and the lunch, my mom and my aunt's maid were prepared, but nobody get to eat it. So we just head to the mountains in a rush, and we were so scared. We didn't know what's going to happen. So when we got to the mountain, unfortunately, our neighbor of 25 years called my dad and my uncles, and it's like, oh, that's nowhere close to the truth. And Yazidis are safe. ISIS is just coming to switch the Iraqi rules into Sharia Allah, or like they're here for the different groups. They're not going to do anything to the Yazidis. And we were so desperate to hear something good, like a good news. So when my family heard that, they decided to return and stay at my grandpa's farm. So our way back, we were just surrounded by ISIS cars, and they just attacked us, took everything, took my family, separated my dad, my uncles, and all the males from the female and the kids. And from there, our suffer started until 2018.
Wow. So you were still there. You lived there for another 4 years.
Almost 3 years, from 2014 until 2017. Sorry, we were in captivity. Yeah.
And then, how did you eventually manage to leave?
Well, we were transferred from place to place, from a different school to a jail and to like somewhere where they could keep us captive throughout Iraq and Syria. ISIS were in both countries trying to like transfer the Yazidis, they were selling them into sexual slavery and like keeping them hostage, telling them there's no way out other than converting to Islam, because in their defense, Yazidis are considered as infidels and they don't have the right to live unless like they convert into Islam. So like trying our ways and like doing like many attempts and all of that, not many of them worked because we were so far from where the Yazidis live and we didn't have a way out. So when they transferred us back to Nainawa, that's where it's closer to home. My family back home found some people that were willing to help us escape in return of some money. So when they heard that and they talked to the government back home, they figured a way out and they paid them to bring us back. I remember we had to walk like for a couple of hours, just trying to walk straight. You couldn't like move, like you had to just walk very straight in a small straight line because everywhere around that area was full of planted bombs. So they knew where the bombs were and they knew what was safe for us. So they walked us from a small village closer to Shingal. They walked us to Shingal, and then from there, the government gave them their money, and then they let us go.
Wow. And did you all survive, all your family?
No. Well, my mom and my siblings are here, but unfortunately, my dad and a few of my cousins, my uncles couldn't survive, and they're still missing after almost 12 years.
Oh, bless you. And your grandfather, did he survive?
We lost my grandfather a while before the genocide because he was helping other non-Yazidi, like Yazidi groups. And when ISIS heard that, they just shot him dead, like I think a month before the Yazidi genocide, because he was helping other people to escape and he was helping them or providing food for them. So they thought he wasn't fit to live. And
it's shocking.
We lost him more.
It's shocking. And you're very brave to talk about it. I was reading that, the towns, the villages, the temples, the schools, the hospitals, the farms, they were all looted and destroyed. And they just wanted to get rid of your religion, your customs, your identity. I mean, it's just terrible.
Yeah, it was very terrible, and it was very sad. And the fact that there's still so many Yazidi girls and women are missing, so many men there's tons of Yazidi mass graves in Iraq that haven't been DNA'd. So many people like us don't know what happened to their family members and still hoping they're eventually going to even find their bones. We'd be happy with that, to know where they are. And what sucks more is the people that did that to us are just going out free, and there's no justice has been served, which makes it so much harder for our healing and for us to live with. Like there's no justice has been served for the Yazidi people.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, actually, Roza. How do you, there's one thing escaping and surviving, but how do you manage to heal and cope with the aftermath?
I think writing this book and letting everything out, telling what happened was part of my healing. But if I say like we're going to heal like fully, that might not be possible because you just live with everything you went through, and like every little thing, there's things now and then reminds you of it, and it's so hard to heal. Just let's say like last Wednesday we had our Yazidi New Year, and you're living through that, and you remember you had days like this surrounded by family, your grandfather, your father, and all your immediate family. But now that you're here and after what happened to you, there's nobody. So it makes you just know that it's not going to be the same, and it's very hard to heal after that. And it's going to take a while.
Of course it is. And I know you're doing your best, things like writing the book, and you're a keynote speaker, which is, as I say, very brave and very important that you get the message out there.
Yeah, I try my best to like share with the world what happened, tell people the truth, who the Yazidis are, what we've been through, and not just for myself, for all the Yazidi women here. There's so many of them went through so much painful stuff, and they don't speak any other language other than Kurdish, so they're unable to share the stories. So for me, I'm doing it not just for myself, but for all the Yazidi women here.
Yeah, your English is very good.
Thank you so much.
And where is here? Where are you living now?
I live in Canada.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
and you
Calgary, Alberta.
You went to St. James Fowler's, I believe, did you? The school you went to?
Yeah, I graduated James Fowler High School, and I'm currently a culinary student at SAIT.
Excellent. And did you speak English already, or did you learn it from being in Canada?
No. So like I said, being in captivity for 3 years, we didn't have a chance of learning, and there was no education. So I had zero English when I moved here, and when we came here and went to school and learned the English language, that's when I learned.
And are there any other Yazidi people near you? I mean, it must have been difficult to sort of adjust to a new way of life.
Yeah, there's quite a fair number of Yazidis here now because the Canadian government helped recently for the ISIS survivors to bring their families here as a part of helping them with their healing journey, because family always helps. And yeah, now we have a fair bit of Yazidis here, and it's hard for them though to be connected or to talk to each other, go to each other, because what the Yazidi been through was very traumatic, and it really affected their communication, their gatherings, and to be able to get together and talk.
Yeah, well, I think you're incredibly brave. It's a very important message. For our listeners, the book is called I Survived ISIS, a Yazidi woman's escape from genocide, and it's by Roza Alomar, who we're chatting to now. Roza, I thank you so much, and I want to wish you lots of luck for your future. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.